Hello, everyone. My name is BJ Beatty, formerly of the Obix Seagulls. From here, the X League will be creating a series with American players, introducing their lives, their experiences throughout their careers here in Japan, and just talk about everything football and their lives. Hope you guys enjoy. Yeah, so I retired, and I mean it's been an interesting feeling. I've played football for 27 years of my life. It was hard. It was hard at first, but to still be able to play about the sport, I'm coaching now at the University of Tokyo is a big help. It's helped me transition into the next step of my life. Also, it's kept me close to football, which is the sport I love so much, and being able to help the next generation of Japanese players, and hopefully I can help them succeed and become everything they want to be as a player, as a person. I'm there to help try and guide them. I think being at the University of Tokyo has helped me transition into my retirement a lot easier. So I was born on the island of Oahu, which is probably the main island in Hawaii, in a small little town called Ka'ava, which a lot of people probably know from Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, Godzilla, all kinds of movies. 50 First Dates were all filmed there. Growing up, yeah, I mean, it was a fun. It was never boring. There's a lot of stuff to do. I had the beach to play at every day. I grew up on a ranch, so there's a lot of working with my grandpa on the ranch, helping with cows, the cattle, landscaping, things like that. I started football at around the age of 7 or 8. I wasn't the biggest kid. I was playing with a lot of kids older than me. I think when I started, I was playing with kids who were 2, 3 years older than me. And the community that I grew up in, football is everything. On my side of the island, high school football is the number one thing. Growing up, I wanted to be a football player. I wanted to play for my high school. If you want to talk about my football legacy, you have to start with my dad, who was a great player for my high school in the late 80s. He was, I think, player of the year his senior year. He was a linebacker, and he was also player of the year for basketball as well. And I'm named after him, and kind of following his legacy was tough early on in my career. He was also a very popular coach. He was one of probably the best coaches my high school's ever had. He's still to this day very beloved within our community. And I started my football career probably what a lot of people don't believe, but I sat on the bench a lot. I wasn't a starter. I wasn't a main key player. That all changed in high school. A lot of that I give the credit goes back to my dad and also my uncle. Chris Naiole, he played in the NFL for 13 years. The both of them kind of pushed me very hard to become the player that I could become. Again, in high school, I wasn't very big. I was a starter on the D line at about 65 kilos. And I was playing against about 115 kilos O-linemen every week. You know, I found football, I learned a lot about myself through football. It taught me confidence, things like that. I wasn't the strongest, so I was very smart. I tried to study my opponents in all those kinds of ways. And luckily, I was successful in high school. I was able to get a scholarship to the University of Colorado. Went to the University of Colorado. I played 4 years. I redshirted 1 year because, again, I wasn't very big. I had to put on some weight to play at the Division I level. My very first play in college football was against Trent Williams. Plays now for the probably famous O-lineman, plays for the San Francisco 49ers. We were playing against Oklahoma, and the starter, his helmet, something snapped on his helmet, so I had to go in for one play. And I bull rushed Trent Williams, and he caught me and threw me about 5 yards towards the sideline. So yeah, I had a good career at the University of Colorado, and unfortunately, it ended with an injury to my left foot. broke some bones while working out, preparing for my pro day for a shot at the NFL. And when I broke that bone, any shot at the NFL went out the window. The NFL is a business, and I wasn't able to walk for about 5, 6 months. And so any opportunity at the NFL was gone. And that was a very tough time in my life. The NFL was always a dream for me. And so I ended up going back home. I rehabbed and I was able to walk again. And a good family friend of mine who was a former Old Vic Seagulls coach, former IBM coach, former KO University coach, David Stant. I call him Uncle David, but he was picking up his son from my house and said, "Hey, can you get back in football shape?" And I said yes. And 5 months later, the head coach now at Old Vic Seagulls, Ohash-san, and Kevin Jackson flew to Hawaii. We sat down at Uncle Dave's house and we talked, and they asked me if I would come out in June to practice. I joined the Old Vic Seagulls in a practice. They put me at middle linebacker, and the very first play they put me in, I run through the O-lineman and I hit the running back without stopping. And and the very next play, they tried to throw a receiver screen, and I think I almost took the receiver's helmet off in that play too. Then Ohashi comes up to me on the sideline, puts his arm around me and asked me if I wanted to play for the Old Vic Seagulls. And that's how I ended up here in Japan. And and I played for 10 years after that. Right? A lot of people think I'm this crazy and just always, person, but I'm actually not. Within the white lines of the football field, yeah, I'm 100% in mode and things like that. But no, I mean, off the field, no. I like to smile all the time. I like to be happy. I'm always playing with my kids. You would probably laugh at some of the things I do. I've dressed up. We went to Disneyland 4 years ago with my oldest daughter, and she was into Peter Pan at the time. So she dressed up like Tinkerbell, and I put on a full Peter Pan outfit on. And I had the hat, I had the shirt, the tights, and everything. And people were laughing at me and stuff like that. And for me, though, I don't care because it's not for you. It's for my daughter. My daughter wanted to see dad like Peter Pan. And, this year we're going to try and do a family costume. And I walk around the house with print, I have, my daughters love to put earrings on me. They paint my nails, things like that. I'm a very just, easygoing person. But on the football field, I completely change. Yeah. But that's not me. I'm always, trying to just bring joy. I mean, life is fun. So, that's just the person I try to be every day, try to be that example for my kids, try to be just, good for my wife as well. And yeah, just live a happy life, and just enjoy it. One thing I'm excited with this series is I think a lot of the fans here in Japan, they don't get a very in-depth, or they don't really get to know us unless you're a fan of, said team and you get to meet the players and talk. I think this would be a good thing for the Americans to be able to share their stories. Everybody has interesting stories. I've gotten to know everybody has interesting stories. Everybody has fun stories of how they've gotten to Japan, things they've experienced in Japan. And I hope with this series we can, share the good that everybody has learned. I hope that we can learn about the players more. I hope we can help football in Japan grow into a bigger sport than it already is. I hope we can help spread the word and just show that Japan football is very good, and that a lot of people have the stereotypes that they're small, or maybe that they're sumo wrestlers trying to play football, or a lot of these guys, they have the passion. And I hope just to be able to share everybody's stories with everyone, and I hope they enjoy it. Well, that's the end of my talk, and from here we're going to start talking to other players throughout the X League. some veterans, some rookies, and I hope you guys all look forward to it. I'm looking forward to it, getting to sit down and talk with these guys and share their stories. So I hope you look forward to everything we're bringing you.